Thank you very much. Greetings to all who are in this call. This is an exciting session that we have in a dialogue. The topic is building and implementing. I like the word implementing South Africa's energy plan. It is so critical that we implement this plan, and I'm confident and I'm very hopeful. I've been in this industry for many, many years, 3 decades, and I've never been as hopeful as now, because we have a COVID crisis, and normally all of us who are leaders know that you cannot waste a crisis. So there's a burning platform, therefore all hands on deck in tackling the energy crisis that we have in our nation. As we know, our nation is high carbon intensive, so we're on a journey of moving from high carbon intensive energy economy to low carbon economy. And this journey must be just, and that's why we use the word just transition. It must be inclusive. It must make sure that it bring everybody along, and it does not create more poverty or even heighten our inequalities. And there's lots of challenges that we're facing, but I'm absolutely confident that we're going to succeed. And the team that is going to be presenting today is highly capable individuals, very seasoned leaders in the energy industry. And a special word of acknowledgement to our Honorable Minister, Mantashe, who is here. Let me just tell you now the format of this session. I already introduced myself. My name is Maurice Radebe. I've been in the energy industry for the last 3 decades. On the 30th of September this year, I retired as an EVP, Executive Vice President of Energy in Assoc. And I'm on my way to become an incoming head of school at Wits Business School. And I'm passionate about the energy and the impact it has on our economy, particularly solving the poverty challenge that we face in our continent. In our continent today, as we know, that energy poverty is a serious challenge. More than 600 million Africans still do not have primary energy, heat and light. And therefore, we need to come up with answers and solutions in this session. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to invite the panelists to spend about 5 minutes tackling this topic. And then thereafter, I'll ask questions, and then we'll open up to the audience and we'll watch in the chat room the kind of questions that you have. We do have a time constraint now, so I'm going to introduce all the panelists at the same time. I'm not going to read their long CVs. They're all experienced, seasoned leaders. Our Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, does not need any introduction. He's been in the public domain, a servant of our nation for many, many years. Ntombi Futhi, Ntuli, CEO of South Africa Wind Energy Association. I'm looking forward to hear from you, Ntombi, about the potential that the wind has. Everyone that I talk about, particularly outside our continent, says we've got the best opportunity to really exploit the wind energy possibilities. So I'm looking forward to hear that from you. Bernard Magoro, head of our Independent Power Producers Office, already done a sterling job so far. As earlier on, Andre indicated that you're making his life easier. Continue to do a good job. And we know there's headwinds and challenges, but we hope to hear from you how you were tackling those challenges. And then we've got a man who, when I met him after he took his job, I said he's the most daring man in South Africa to take the most challenging job in our nation. Andre Ruyter, Group Chief Executive. As you know, our Eskom is our biggest electricity utility, and the challenges that are there, but the opportunities are also there to really turn it around, but more importantly, open up the whole space to make sure that there's more people generating. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask our minister to kick off 5 minutes and basically give us marching orders in terms of how we're going to tackle this energy crisis, how we're going to tackle the biggest challenge that we have right now. We've just had discovery of a gas by Total, big game changer. How are we going to be able to make sure we bring this into fruition? Whenever we discover resources, they either become a curse or a blessing in our continent, and a blessing, because our minister is going to tackle all the legislative issues, regulatory issues that are on the way, and so for us to succeed. So, Minister, here is an opportunity for you to tell the nation and the world your plan to implement this energy plan. Over to you. 5 minutes. I'm timing you now. Over to you, Minister.
All right, I'll just continue, assuming that everyone can hear me. I was saying that wind energy has a great potential to make a huge impact on the South African economy. Despite the South African renewable energy sector being relatively young in comparison to other energy markets, we have made great progress under the South African government's REAP program, which I think was a great initiative to start democratizing the energy sector environment. As we all know, that bid window 1 was mostly dominated by foreign resources, making use of skills and knowledge learned in other markets. But I think by the time we got to bid window 3 and 4, we started witnessing an industry that has started to mature, which is a great deal, with a great deal of focus, moving to localized resources as well as local companies as contractors. So for me, this is the heart of the contribution of the renewable energy sector as a whole. That we from where we started to where we are now, we are seeing more local ownership in the sector. We are seeing more opportunities to localize the equipment. Some of the things that are really not in the public eye. I had a discussion today with one of the manufacturers who manufactures steel for wind turbine anchor cages, and he's based in Vereeniging. And those are some of the examples that we don't see. And that actually creates a manufacturing base for South Africa. We already having concrete towers manufactured locally. We already having steel towers manufactured locally. And with the IRP, the way it looks, allocation of 1.6 gigawatts per annum for the wind sector, the potential is even bigger to expand these manufacturing plants and actually localize even more components. But besides that, the actual investment that we attract into the country, I mean, looking back at the past 4 bidding windows, wind energy alone attracted 80.6 billion rands. The whole renewable energy sector, just over 200 billion rands. And we've got this potential to attract investment. And the nice thing is that the independent power producers have the ability to raise capital to actually build power plants for South Africa, which is something that we need to look after, because now we've got a group of companies who are actually going into the whole world, fetching capital into South Africa, and actually that making a difference, one, in terms of providing energy, which is much needed to grow the economy, but two, to actually get this economic development benefits that we started to see in the past bidding rounds. I mean, our own estimation for the wind sector was that we can actually attract more than 40 billion rands per annum if the IRP is implemented the way it has been stated. And that potential remains something that will make a huge difference to the South African economy. We've started to see the local skills developing, and going forward, I spoke to one of the training institutions, and they're saying for every megawatts of wind power installed, we need 0.12 wind turbine technicians. And we have these people here in the country being trained in the country at SAIC and providing employment opportunities for the public of South Africa. So, Maurice, I think to your question, there's a lot of great potential. We need to capitalize on it. We need to get the policy environment conducive to enable the wind energy sector and the whole renewable energy sector to actually fetch these investments and actually make a difference in the energy sector in our economy. Thanks, Maurice.
Is now okay. I can go back to the minister. It's always good to...
Our brief is energy security of supply. That was seen as to work hand in hand
on the
with
phone,
Eskom.
but I can't hear.
We're not a competitor to Eskom. We are complementary to Eskom. Everything we do complements the efforts that are in Eskom in ensuring that there is energy security of supply. That's what we're doing. Number two, we have a responsibility to ensure that there's adequate generation capacity to meet the demands for electricity under both current low growth economic environment and even when the economy turns around. At this point in time, we may have a false comfort zone of no load shedding, know that when actually it is a function of low demand. We must build enough generation capacity for the high growth economy which we are dreaming with, as you saw in the economic reconstruction and recovery plan. The energy in South Africa has been driven by coal generation. We're having a fleet of 16 coal power generation stations. And to move from that to low carbon emission is a journey. It's not an event. And we must manage that journey properly if we want to have the security of supply all the time. That's why if you looked into the RP that we are implementing, we have opted for a mixture of technology and mixture of sources of energy. And we're making provision for them. But you'll also notice that we have undertaken to give the biggest growth allocation to renewables, to show our commitment to movement from high carbon emission to low carbon emission. But other sources of energy, we still want them to contribute so that there is stability. We don't have problems that are a function of one source of energy. We're not going to move from one extreme to the other. You know, today we're struggling because we depended on one source of energy, coal, and we allowed other energy sources to collapse. We should avoid that risk because it is in line with an English expression that you don't put your eggs in one basket. Now, we have allowed that all energy sources and technology will contribute to the energy security of supply. That is our position as you see it in the ARP. The first one is the emergency procurement of 2,000 megawatts. We have not stated which source. Any source, we have issued the request for proposals for that. That is testing the market. Who makes offers, who will do it quick, who will do it urgently, who will supply the 2,000 megawatts, and that's what we are looking at. Actually, procurement of additional power from existing renewable energy, thereby people will talk to this in detail, including the risk mitigation program. I'm leaving it to you, Bernard. The short-term power purchase and demand-side management is an initiative by Eskom, which is supported by the department. Eskom will talk to that, but we are supporting that program of Eskom fully as the department. The generation for own use, we have enabled generation for own use by removing licensing requirement for certain category of generation, but not under 1 megawatt. There's a new debate now that we should just deregulate self-generation. Our argument is that if we do that, we are going to throw ourselves under the bus and have chaos in the country. We must continue regulating. They must have licenses because when they generate extra, they want to access transmission, and we don't want to allow chaos into the transmission line of the country. Municipal generation is now allowed. New rules have been developed. It is allowed. Now, let me leave that. That is what we do. If you take the generation of 11,813 megawatts from various sources, it is aimed at taking pressure from the grid and ensure that there is security of energy supply without taking anything from Eskom. But our view, which we think will help investors, is to allow competition at the level of generation. But Eskom must have tight control of transmission. I always call it the Dutch model, where transmission is managed by the state, and the state, it must do it through Eskom, but open up competition at the level of generation. That will take out the responsibility that is put on the objective that is put on the state to absorb the risk. People ask me all the time, Andre, why do we allow expensive bid window 1, 2, and 3 and impose that cost on Eskom? My argument is that when the state gives Eskom 69 billion, it's not a rescue pack. It's the price it pays for licensing a technology at a high cost, and therefore there should be an obligation to pay that money to Eskom, so that Eskom must continue generating energy for the country. But if we don't, we will regard it as a rescue package. We are going to see it as a risk, but the state undertook to absorb the risk that was supposed to be taken by investors. So that in itself should be attractive to investors. So we're hard at work. You talk of building and implementing as an energy plan. We are already in execution phase. When in the execution phase, we are not just developing policies, but the issue of issuing requests for proposals from various sectors is to test the market, because theoretically, people come forward and say the lowest cost energy is this, but you can only appreciate that when you get into the market. Like, for example, if you take bid window 4, which must come, everybody talk about it. Up to now, only 135 megawatts are on the grid. 1,000 is likely to come in December. The rest of bid window 4 will only be on the grid by mid-2022. So that is a long lead period, which is natural if you're constructing and therefore generating. Now, to create a false picture that there is instant availability of energy from a particular technology is misleading. Let's be proactive. Let's be very pragmatic in what we do, so that investors are not led into investing under false pretense. Want investors to invest in energy, it is necessary, it is urgent, the environment is conducive, therefore investors may come and invest. I don't want to tell about Eskom, but Eskom with us, we must work together to ensure that we do what we should do to secure energy supply to the economy. It is a catalyst. Energy is a catalyst of economic development and growth. And therefore, we need confidence in what is happening in the space of energy, because that catalyst will change the future. The discovery by Total is actually a game changer. We're engaging Total. Somebody said to me, Action left, but I said to this person, Shell is in that space already. So there's a lot of attraction of investors into exploration in the deep waters. Let's encourage it. Let's not fight it. Let's not create obstacles to it, because the economy. So thank you very much, Program Director. I can see that you're saying to me, I'm exceeding your 5 minutes. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Minister. To hear that in the right direction.
Thanks, Maurice. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, the panelists, and the audience who joined us this afternoon. Yes, as the Minister correctly pointed out, we are running a number of programs within the IPP office to respond to the current challenges, and I will highlight some of them and leave the rest for us to engage outside, just because of the time constraints. So we are already hard at work in the IPP office in responding to the challenge. Obviously, the biggest response is the risk mitigation, where we are looking at procuring 2,000 megawatts from different technology sources. We have not specified the technology for the first time. We are saying everyone who can help us solve this problem within the time frames, within the reasonable prices, they are welcome to join us. And we have actually been inundated with a lot of interest from the market. On the 31st of October, we required all the potential bidders to give us an indication whether they were going to participate to this program. And I'm happy to report that we had more than 60 responses of the bidders out there who are saying they are raising their hands. They want to respond to the risk mitigation 2,000 megawatts. It's an ambitious program where we're looking at procuring this 2,000 megawatts within the record time of at least by June 2022. And we have given a little bit more time to December 2022, but we should start getting that power as early as around about June 2022. So we are very excited about it. And in response to the challenge, Maurice and the audience, we have actually had to be efficient in how we do things. We have released the RFP on record time. We have given the market, and the market has responded on time as well. They have asked a little bit of extension, which we have allowed them. The program is now closing on the 22nd of December. And from here, we're just going to be cruising until we give the announcement of the preferred bidders by around about February next year. And then financial close, we're looking at around June 2021. And from there, we start with construction. So we are very excited about this program. The minister mentioned is technology agnostic, which means we are looking at all technologies that can solve the problems that we have, which we have highlighted in the RFP documents in response to the request from the system operator. So that's the one program. The second one is obviously we're trying to buy any excess capacity that is available out there from the already existing IPPs. And we have had positive response as well. We are busy finalizing the documentation. By early next year, we should conclude this process and start getting that capacity. There's also a small program where we are trying to buy from the developing developers, if I can call them that. That program was limited to 5 megawatts. We needed about 100 megawatts, so there's about 20 entities that participated. So that process is also ongoing. We're hoping to conclude first quarter of next year as well. And that will also add to the challenge that we have as a country. So just to touch a little bit on where we took from here, given the time constraints, the minister has already spoken about the 11,000 megawatts, 11,813 to be exact, that has been concurred by the regulator following the determination by the minister. We are already working on the rollout plan And with this plan, we want to make sure that we maximize the benefit for the country. So we want to roll out in such a way that we can kickstart the manufacturing. I think Ntombi already spoke about that. We want to build on what we already created in the last 10 years so that we can start manufacturing, strong manufacturing hub in South Africa to support even the rest of the continent. So that program will be out starting January 2021. We already agreed that we will issue the RFP by January 2021 with the minister, and RFP for bid window 5 will be out. And thereafter, the subsequent RFPs will actually overlap each other. So there will be a very quick rollout, but again, making sure that we are still able to follow all the procurement processes. So that's what we're excited about. So in that 11,800 megawatts, we are looking at 6,800 of renewables between wind and PV. There will be 3,000 megawatts of gas. For the first time in the country, we're going to have gas to power projects. And then we're also looking at 1,500 megawatts of coal. There's also battery storage for the first time as well of about 513 megawatts. So all of this we're hoping will contribute to solving the current challenges. And just to conclude in my last minute, just to say that in all our programs as the IPP office guided by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, we always see this as not just adding megawatts to the grid, but also solving other challenges that the country is facing. So you will notice even in the risk mitigation program, the previous programs, and going forward, we're going to follow the same trend, whereby the program is structured in such a way that it also supports other government socioeconomic challenges. So we are also looking at emphasizing that as we roll out the second determination as well. So we will be making sure that the communities where these projects are located also benefits. Local ownership is also encouraged, and we also set targets for local content to try and beef up local manufacturing as well. Skills development, participation by the youth, by women, people living with disabilities. So all these elements form part of our programs as we roll out the second determination. So we have a plan that goes for the next 5 to 8 years, and thereafter, in fact, in between, we'll also get other determination to roll out the rest of the IRP. So we are very excited, and the IPP office is hard at work in support of the government recovery plan. Maurice, I will stop here. Back to you.